Okay, hi. I'm Dave Gerke, and a master psychic. Today we're going to talk about some funny occurrences that have happened over the years with animals. There's a lot of them, and I have a lot of gifts. I've written 2 books. The first 2, Billy the Kid and Conversations with Spirits from Tombstone. You can get through us. We'll put a link on it. And if you ever want any readings or something, I'm very fussy of my time, and I'll decide if I want to do a reading, and if it's necessary to do a reading for you. The books you can get here through us. The book that explains myself and my gifts up to a point is in the process of being edited. That's the 3rd book. The 4th one will be, I'm going to start on it this coming month, and it'll be on the Greys and or a species of the aliens. I'm really looking forward to that too. I want to talk to you about the funny occurrences that I've had with animals, and I'll start with the horses. I used to holler, yell, scream for the horses to come. I'll be darned if I'm going to come and go chase a horse. I learned many years ago that I just would come home and tell the horses, come here, and they'd be a quarter mile or so away, and they'd come on a full gallop. And people used to wonder at that, how in the world did they do that? And I just tell them to get here, and they'd come. Full gallop, and no enticement whatsoever, hollering or whatever. I've followed that through the years, learned to talk to horses. I talk to animals, all of them. It is immaterial to me, the species of animals, but I can ask them questions, break through to them, and they respond. Horses, I've had a special bond for them. I like horses, I like dogs, but I bond to all animals. It started years ago, back in the 70s. My kids, when they view this tape, they'll realize finally now we had Arabian and a young stallion named Dexter, and we'd lunch with horses, and I'm sitting out in the middle of the lunching pen and having them go around the circle, and I told the girls what to do, and I told the horses, you follow them. And only now, after all these years, I told the girls to back up and not make eye contact with the horses. And I told the horses, you follow my daughter, the one daughter, and then the other daughter around the pen. You follow them. And so they backed up, and they followed them all around the pen. And it made my heart feel very good. And everybody else said, wow, you can get them to do it. It was only voice command talking to them. And it wasn't anything that anyone else did. The horse training is really easy for me and all animals. We had another stallion and other horses affiliated with when we got to Carlsbad, and they would go running about 5.5 acres they had, and I'd go out into the pasture and just mentally call for the horses to come here, and they would pick up their head and look and tell them to get over here, and they'd come over. They would not hear me, and they could not really see me, but they would know me. I went into the pens when the stallion was running around trying to get out of the mare, and he's running back and forth and all foamed up, and I just tell him to come over here. And he'd come out of full gallop, and I'd hear everybody else, the fence creaking as they left to get out of the way. And I sat there and waited for him to come up and get petted. And he was wild. he was foamed up into a foam. But I have that rapport with all animals. Dogs, we've had a number of happy occurrences. One time we were driving from Roswell to Carlsbad, and the one dog, the lady was talking to him a day or two before, and I didn't pay any attention to him. And so my daughter was in the back seat, and she asked me, "Dad, why don't you talk to the dog and ask him what he's thinking?" So I relayed the conversation, and he was upset. He was kind of angry, and finally he said, "I'm no candy-ass dog, too." And the lady that was driving, she just about went into a fit, and laughing, she said, "I called him that a couple days ago," and he remembered, and I got scolded out for calling him a candy-ass dog. My daughter and I was sitting there, and we didn't know what the dog was talking about. And it made a special bond with that little dog, and others too that I have talked to. One dog, I asked him, my daughter said, "Dad, her little dog is kind of sick. Can you ask him what's the matter?" And so I talked to the dog, and he said, "Just give me some grease, please." And so I relayed that message to her. And the next day the dog was fine. I went up to northern New Mexico years ago, and with a lady friend, and when I left, she had a big dog, a scrawny, long-haired dog, and I talked to the dog and made friends with it. That was a female. And when I got out to the car, a small car, and I was sitting in the passenger seat, and the dog tried to crawl in the car. And I said to the dog mentally, I said, "You can't get in here." He said, "I want to come with you. I want to come with you." And I told him, "You got to get out of the car. It's not room, please. You have to stay with your master." And the next thing I knew, he went out and sat in the middle of the road. Now, you got to envision this. He was a big dog, or she was a big dog. And she's out in the middle of the street. And the owner said, "What are you doing out there? What are you doing?" So I asked her, "What are you doing?" He told me, "Well, I'm going to commit suicide." And we all laughed. And "If I can't come with you, I'm going to commit suicide." And I told her to get in there and behave herself. She's got to stay with her master. It's been really enjoyable, and the way I do this, I've talked to fish. We would go to a certain restaurant that had one big fish and one little fish, and I talked to him. And he'd get over by the one little fish, and he said, "This is my honey, and I kind of leave the pack here, and this is my tank, and you don't come in my tank now and interrupt with my honey." And it was really kind of enjoyable. I got gifts that bring me a lot of pleasure, and the gifts come from my God, and they're really wonderful, wonderful gifts. I could go on for hours on different happenings that I've had. They're strange, but they're also very enjoyable. Again, if you want to contact me for any reason, we'll send a link to this place where you can get a hold of me. So again, we'll talk again some more. Until then, adios.